Hello, everybody. So we have 27 days until End of Dragons actually comes out. And so I figured I would kind of talk about what build I'm planning on using through the story and all the beginning content. I have like 300 something hero points on my ranger right now. So I am set to go for when Untamed launches. So I want to talk about the build that I'm going to be using when End of Dragon launches in 27 days. So yeah, let's go and get into this. So, as you can see, Guild Wars 2 Skills finally updated their website today to include the last three Elite Specializations. I'm not sure what took them so long. It took them over 3 months to do this. It took them fucking forever. I don't know why it took them so long, but it is a free service. I'm not going to complain that much. But yeah, it was kind of annoying not being able to do my build on here. But anyway, I digress. So let's go ahead and get into, I guess first, since we'll start off at the top here with the pets, right? So the Iboga is absolutely phenomenal for both single target and AoE damage. Its auto attack cleaves targets, which is absolutely incredible. If I want a tanky pet, because right now, as it stands, both of these pets are not going to be tanky. I'm actually going to switch this out for probably either the Jacaranda or the Smoke Scale. The Jacaranda has a really powerful call lightning ability, and us being able to manually cast our skills now, all of them, is going to be very, very helpful. I talked about that in my last video, how you can kind of root them down and then use that cast, call lightning, which is very, very useful. We also have the Smoke Scale here, which bleeds on its auto attack and can stacks intensity, I believe. And it could be really, really nice to have a Smoke Scale because it's very, very tanky. It also does a decent bit of damage. Not quite as high as a Jacaranda or Iboga, but yeah. Keep in mind, this is also going to be until I find wherever a new pet is. I will pretty much be using the new pets right when I get them because it's a new pet, and why wouldn't I? So yeah, Iboga's the first pick. We have quite a bit of confusion and torment going on here. We're never really going to use this ability right here unless if we need some CC. These two abilities, the F3 and F1, we will be using off cooldown because they are just straight up damage increases against enemies, and it's very, very powerful. So yeah, for our second pet, we're going to be rocking the Red Moa. Now, the Red Moa traditionally, in terms of its damage and overall utility, actually not utility. Utility's fine on it. Just the damage on it is fucking awful. All the MOAs have extremely poor damage. So the reason why I have Red Moa on swap is for the harmonic cry ability. So this is going to be phenomenal. I talked about this in my last video again. We're able to manually activate a heal that without healing power is just as strong as We Heal as One. Which is absolutely insane. And not only will it heal you, it will heal your allies too. Actually, I guess technically it possibly couldn't even heal you in a Zerg group, huh? But it's still, a heal for people, so that's nice. But for solo play, this is going to come in clutch a lot, especially if you're at low health and you have your Perilous Skiff off cooldown, or on cooldown rather. And yeah, just pop into it, use the harmonic cry, and of course you're going to have to wait the 15 seconds for the skill cooldown for being able to switch pets. But this is just going to be a really useful thing to have on swap. If I don't want to run that, and also you have the Beast ability, which is also useful too. You get Fury. Permanent Fury while it's out, pretty much, almost. I mean, you get 15 seconds and it's on a 20-second cooldown. So, yeah, it can be really, really useful for sure. So yeah, but like I said, most of the time, Iboga will be out doing, hefty amounts of damage. As you can see for our weapons, we're going to go to equipment here. We have the longbow and the hammer. Both are going to be Berserker, and both have force and strength runes. So, I've talked about these runes before. I absolutely love these runes for power builds. They are just fucking incredible. I cannot express how amazing this rune combination actually is for just overall play. When you get into group content, perhaps it's better to run, something different, maybe accuracy runes or, something different. That maybe more meta. I'm not entirely sure what would be more meta besides these, but yeah, really nice just for general play. So yeah, hammer skills. We don't need to go over the weapon skills, right? So longbow hammer. You could also do longbow greatsword. You could do, if you want to go purely melee, you could do great sword and hammer. There's, sword axe is going to be a phenomenal combo. Although I will say the ambush skill for the sword was terrible in the last beta. So hopefully they'll buff some of the ambush skills. But yeah, moving into the skills, we have Pearlia's Gift. This one is actually a fucking phenomenal ability. I actually really enjoyed this heal when I was playing with it. It acts sort of similar to the AED, where whenever it's activated, you cannot die, and when it ends, instead of actually scaling off of your healing power, it scales off your vitality, so it'll heal you for 50% of your missing health. Which, if you have a lot of missing health, it can come in very, very clutch. This combined with the increased vitality in the Untamed traits could really be an awesome ability. I'm very, very looking forward to using the Pearlia's Gift. It's going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal. And yeah. And you're going to see this entire build is pretty much centered around my pet, actually, which is going to be really fun to be able to do that. But yeah, so another interesting thing about Pearlia's Gift from my memory is that it also heals your pet, which it doesn't mention in the tooltip, but it actually heals your pet too. Which is actually very, very useful. I'm not entirely sure if it heals its pet or heals your pet under the same stats, or if it heals the pet based on how much you actually got healed or whatever. But from my memory, it actually does heal the pet. Quickening Zephyr is up next. So you could replace this or Sikkim with something else. You could do like Frost Trap. You could do Frost Spirit. Exploding Spores is one that I ran a lot in my what was it? In my my 2.0 build. That one was a really, really good one. Mutate Conditions is a fucking phenomenal stun break. This one's going to be absolutely amazing. Converting all your conditions into vulnerability. Super awesome Condy Cleanse as well as a stun break. This could be super useful against certain enemies. Like those fucking awakened assholes in Domain of Ishtan, like towards the bottom in that heart area, like, and how they knock you down and then they Condi the shit out of you. This could be really useful for that. I mean, this has no cap for Condi Clear. It just is really like, you're going to get a fuckload of vulnerability if you have a lot of conditions. But yeah, this is going to be super, super fun. I guess Protect Me is a good stun break too. I definitely do prefer Mutate Conditions though, the stun break. You can't, I think that's pretty much about it for skill variants in terms of what I would recommend running. Obviously, you can run whatever the hell you want technically, but yeah. Quickening Zephyr, this is a really useful skill. For 6 seconds, it'll actually give you and your pet quickness and super speed. I will mention on some pets, this doesn't even work, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they're going to adjust that going into Ender Dragons or not, but pretty sure, from my memory, it works on the Iboga, so we should be fine on that. Segment of the Wild, which is going to increase the ferocity of you and your pet. Your pet, probably isn't going to be critically striking as often as you. Actually, probably not even close. What am I saying? But it is going to be nice. Just more ferocity for both of you is going to be absolutely fantastic. Sikkim, huge damage increase for your pet on single targets, as well as being able to move quicker. And I guess for like PvP and stuff, it's nice to be able to like not be able to have like thieves, be pussies and fucking stealth. So yeah, Sikkim. I've always loved Sikkim. I've ran this on a lot of builds. And it's just really awesome for the pet, getting that 40% more damage. Moving into the elite skill, there's actually a couple ones we could use here. So there's Strength of the Pack, which is probably the best one to use for general PvE play. When you get into group play, it's going to be a bit different because of the fact that you're getting a lot of might from your teammates and a lot of fury from your teammates. So the ability is pretty much useless. So I really hope they actually rework this skill. I'm really wanting them to rework it so it has some sort of combo with your pet and isn't as boring in endgame content as it is right now, because, rampaging with your pet and then just getting a few boons to me just doesn't really feel like rampaging with my pet. I want to do like a lot more damage with my pet and like maybe, whenever I do like attacks and stuff, my pet will do like random, like really powerful attacks, or I don't know, some shit like that. Maybe there would be an elite where maybe they would change. No, they're not going to change Force Fortification, but that'd be kind of cool. Strength of the Pack, though, great for general play, for lots of might and fury, stability stacking. And yeah, Force Fortification is what I would actually recommend, oddly enough, running in group content. And I'm talking about probably like 10-man content here, where you're getting lots of might and just tons of boons on you. Considering this is not a support-oriented build or boon-tossing build on people, this is a damage-oriented build. The reason I want to go with this is because obviously, like I said, Strength of the Pack is almost completely useless in 10-man content. This is the only one I could actually see getting used or any sort of amount of use off of, mainly because for that reducing incoming damage by 50%, which could be really, really solid if you're getting in shit's creek and you need, a lot of defensiveness. This could be really, really good. So yeah, but most of the time I'm going to be running Strength of the Pack or Hounds of Balthus. No, I'm just fucking with you. Those things are terrible. Yeah. So I will mention in terms of the rotation, I typically just spam fuck buttons in this game, and it works out pretty well. During the beta, it worked out very, very well. Most of the time, we will be staying unleashed ourselves and getting access to the unleashed 4 abilities here on the hammer. These are much more powerful than the standard non-unleashed abilities. But they trade off the CC effects for a lot more damage. So if you need a lot of CC, unleashing your pet and then using these, what the actual fuck? Unleashing your pet will give you a lot of CC here, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Some of the highest break bar potential in the entire game comes from Untamed. As well as actually using these skills. These skills are not bad for PvE play. Like they can combo off each other. Like there's a field and then a finisher there. And then there's a teleport, which actually does a damn good amount of damage, by the way. And so, yeah, don't sleep on these abilities for PvE. They can be very, very useful damage-wise. And you could just burst enemies down with them, which is absolutely amazing. It's so much fun. I think that's pretty much about it for this section of the build. I don't really think there's much, obviously we're going to be going back to Unleash as much as we can whenever the buff is active where you can use your ambush skill. That's going to be a huge thing. Ambush skills do a lot of damage, and I'm actually expecting the hammer skill to do either more damage or they're going to speed up the cast time on it, because last time it was really, really slow, but it ended up doing a lot of damage. So I'm really hoping they boost that up. So moving into the specializations now. So we have Marksmanship, Beast Mastery, and Untamed. This slot right here is kind of a flex spot. You can run Marksmanship or Skirmishing. And we're going to be going over both of those, both of those ones. And I will note with Skirmishing, you could technically get, with Fury, you get 100% crit chance pretty much. And then you can actually overcap and get over that if you're flanking a target with Skirmishing on. So I will mention that with the current, gear we're running. You might want to adjust that a little bit if you're running Skirmishing. But, I guess at the same time, you don't really need to flank a target at that point, we'll see. Hunter's Gaze, really, really solid. Farsighted, and then we have Predator's Onslaught, which is a phenomenal ability, especially if you're disabling foes a lot with your, and this could actually play really well into high pet damage, that could be really fun. Just disabling the shit out of your enemies with the non-unleashed skills on Hammer. And then your pet just going all in with Predator's Onslaught. I'm very much looking forward to using that. But if we were to go Skirmishing, these two to me are good combos. This just does, a teensy bit more damage on critical hit. It's not really much to consider at all. If you want more evades, Priming Reflexes is good, but for me personally, I prefer to just have Sharpened Edges. Spotter for increased precision, which is actually going to take us up to 74%. Oh, fuck me. So we might want to adjust the gear a little bit if we're running Skirmishing. It really depends on how I feel when, Untamed actually comes out. So our crit chance goes through the fucking roof whenever we run Vicious Quarry here, which actually gives us 30% chance, 30% critical chance for Fury now instead of 20. So that's going to boost us up to 104. And then we also get 10% more damage and critical chance when we're flanking. So this can actually be a huge damage increase if you are flanking a lot. And perhaps we should actually, fuck around with our build a little more to get less crit chance, because that's actually insane. We're going to put it back to Marksmanship just for right now. Okay, Beast Mastery. This is pretty much, I would think, going to be universally ran on Untamed to give your pet more power, because, Untamed is more focused on the pet than Soul Beast and Druid, of course, because Druid completely nerfs your fucking pet. So Potent Ally here. This one's really good. More might. Natural healing. I will say this is also a great option, mainly for the Fury whenever you disable a foe. That could be useful, except it's on a 10-second cooldown. So maybe it actually won't be that useful. If you're running Greatsword, though, two-handed training is going to be the way to go for sure. But I just have natural healing on right now. You could also do Wilting Strike here, which applies weakness, right? And I believe... Never mind. That doesn't play into Predator's Onslaught. I'm an idiot. Honed Axes for more ferocity for us on our pet. Which is really, really nice. And moving into Untamed, this is where we're going to talk about, the traits more in depth. So we have Blinding Outburst. So this one's cool. It applies blindness to your, whenever you use Venomous Outburst. But what makes it so good to me over the other traits is it does 25% more damage, which is a very, very big increase for that ability, as well as increasing the damage of your Unleashed Ambush skills by 25%. This is probably going to be the trait for PvE for this slot. I could see this almost entirely being ran by anybody. Cantrips getting buried you and your pet. This one's not very useful. I don't know. Run Blinding Outburst. That's gonna be the way to go for PvE. Just straight up more damage on your ambush skills and on Venomous Outburst. Okay, this one's kind of a flex spot. I like running this just for Condi Cleanse purposes, but Enhancing Impact could be good too. It really depends. I mean, because what is that? That's whenever you're unleashed when you get quickness, right? Whenever you disable a foe. This could be good if you are running Greatsword and you do Maul, Hilt Bash, Maul, and then you get quickness for a few seconds. That could be really useful. Frost Trap will also count as this, I believe, if Chill counts, right? Never mind, I am an utter and complete idiot. So maybe this wouldn't be that good. I would probably just run Cleansing Unleash. Corrupting Vines, man, if there's boons on your fucking enemies, maybe if there's more boons and on PvE enemies, this will be useful. I mean, I highly doubt that, personally. I don't think they're going to be putting too much boons on the enemies, but yeah. Moving into the last slot is going to be Ferocious Symbiosis. I'm a huge fan of this trait. 3% more damage, stacking up to 5 times. So that's 15% damage for both you and your pet separately. So that's going to be, if you both, I guess in a perfect world, it'll be 30% more damage, but not entirely. But yeah, it's going to be really solid. Restorative Strike is great for defensive play. Fervent Force is also great if you're going to be disabling foes a shitload on your hammer. And yeah, Ferocious Symbiosis, though, I think is probably going to be the most universal trait in this slot here. And yeah, moving into the gear, finally, we're going to wrap shit up here. We have Berserker gear with Assassin accessories. Usually I like running all Berserker, but I wanted to get that crit chance up because of marksmanship. So we're running Assassin accessories. This is an interesting pick. I'm a huge fan of Ranger runes. Precision and ferocity, and then also doing more damage whenever you have an active companion. This is a straight up 7% damage boost at pretty much all times whenever you're playing a Ranger, which is huge. That's an awesome boost. So I really enjoy the Ranger runes. I think there's actually going to get a lot more play. We currently don't know what the Untamed runes will even be. Maybe that'll have to do something with, maybe whenever your pet is unleashed, it does more damage or something. If that's the case, you could bet your ass I'm going to be running that. But yeah, this is going to be a really solid rune to run for overall play. And I'm very, very excited about that. Anyway, I think that's pretty much going to cover it. I think we've gone over everything now with the build and what I'm going to be running. And yeah, peace.